What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's that time again. We are back with another season of A Father's Authority. Man, I missed you guys. Missed talking to you guys, but we are here. Um, I got a brand new slate of interviews for you guys, brand new slate of things coming up. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, A Father's Authority is a part of Kingdom Relationships, and we exist to talk all things fatherhood. We're here to change the narrative on fatherhood, to get fathers back into the lives of their children, to get them engaged, and to help you. If you're a dad, if you need resources, if you need help, if you need encouragement, if you need tools, we want to help you with that, with success, marriage, spirituality, spirituality, and fatherhood. So tonight we start off tonight with the very first episode, season two. And tonight I'm starting off with a young man that I recently met. We became friends on Instagram, and this young man is doing big things. He's doing a lot with his children. He's a father of two. He's married. He's an, I want to get this right because I stumbled with this word, an anesthesiologist. If I said that right. Um, he went to Howard. Y'all know me and these HBCUs, how I am with the competition, because I went to Norfolk State. But he's a great guy. He's been married to his wife, Crystal, for 10 years. He has a 6-year-old daughter, Denise, and a 2-year-old son, Robert the third. And they live in, I think I'm saying it right, Perio, Illinois. But I'm going to let him tell you that right now. So here he is. Robert, how you doing, man?
Nate, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about what you're doing, and I'm glad to be a part.
We're glad to have you part. Now, I don't know if I said your city right. How do you pronounce your city?
You got anesthesiologist right. It's Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, Illinois. All right, I
Yeah.
got it. I got it. So, Robert, man, we're so glad to have you here. Um, so just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm a father of two. I have a 6-year-old daughter, Denise, a 2-year-old son, Robert the third. And I'm a modern father. I believe that I, along with many dads that I know nowadays, we're very much a part of our kids' lives. I get them ready for school. I feed them dinner, put them to bed at night, read to them, very hands on. It's very important to me that my kids know that I love them, that I'm present. And so being a father is something that's very important to me.
I love it. I love it. I do the same, man. I get my son up in the mornings and I take him to school. My wife and I we do it together. She fixes his breakfast. I get him washed up, get him ready, brush his hair and his hair right, and then I take him to school. She picks him up. Then I come home. So I love it, man. You got a lot of dads that's doing that,
Oh, yeah.
and and I don't think I love it. I don't think anything's wrong with it. I love my son. We have routine. Most of the time, I put him to bed at night where we read his Bible. We say the prayers together, and then I put him to sleep. But that's great, man. That's great. So tell us your story pertaining to your life. Did you have your father in your life?
Yeah, so my parents divorced when I was 5 years old. I spent the school year with my mom, and in the summers, my brother and I would go and spend time with my dad. I have a younger brother, and my dad is still very much a part of my life. We talk all the time, and I feel like the type of dad, like I was saying, modern dad, things have changed to where I think um, in the past, dads were not maybe as hands on as they are now. Today, we're much more close with our kids, much more active. And so I feel like the type of dad that I am to my kids is the kind of dad that, I probably wanted more of as a child. And so I try to give my kids everything that I didn't. I give them my time. I give them, the wisdom that I've accumulated to help them be better people whenever they grow up.
Okay, and that's good. I understand that because I did that with my son. I did it with my son. I didn't have my father growing up, so I try to give my son everything I didn't have. And I think a lot of dads that didn't have a father that are good dads that are present, they're
Yeah.
doing that as well. So how did that impact what type of father you are to your children?
Yeah, so affection is a big thing. I always tell my kids I love them, hug them. I think the most important thing is giving them affirmation to where
Mm,
they feel that they're important. I don't want them to only get attention from kids at school. I want them to know that they're important because their dad sees them as important. I tell my daughter that she's beautiful and that she's smart. I do the same thing for my son, and so I think affirming them, giving them, self confidence is huge.
yes, and I do every morning with my son. We do a confession.
Yeah.
And tell them every morning, I tell them, I am great. I am a champion. I can do anything. Jesus loves me. I'm a holloway. I'm a leader and not a follower. So
I
we
like-
say every morning
yeah.
before he leaves the house, before he goes to school, even if it's on the weekend, before I leave to go out of the house, I say it with him because, like you said, I want him to know that he's great. I want him to know um, that he could do
Mhm.
anything. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about how our kids think, and he said, "Man, you changed your son's thinking." I said, "No, I didn't change his thinking. I framed his thinking. I didn't have to change
Yeah.
my thinking because of what I put in him, what I taught to him, what I told him, what I told him that he is as a father. That's what we have to do. We have to frame our kids'
Yeah.
thinking from birth, and when we start doing that when they are young, when they get older, they'll think that way, and we're putting in what we want to come out of them, and then we can have a bigger influence on them. And even as they get old, it's not too late for a father who has an older
Mhm.
child to start. You may just have to change their thinking and change how you frame it. But fathers, as
Mhm.
they get older, can change their child's thinking by how they frame and what they say to them. So let me ask you,
Mhm.
what does fatherhood mean to you?
It's several things. One of the first things is being a provider, making sure that my kids' basic needs are met. I want to make sure that Denise and Robert have food to eat, clothes to wear, shelter over their head. Um, Secondly, being a father is about protecting them. There's a lot of danger seen and unseen that a lot of our kids face, whether it be bullying at school, peer pressure, and spiritual things as well. And so it's important that I pray for Denise and Robert. Um, and then thirdly, being a father to me is about building them up, the affirmation, instilling my values in them, making sure that um, you know I tell my wife all the time that whenever my younger son Robert turns 18, we're gonna sell our house and we're gonna move to LA. They're gonna be in the world by themselves, and so we want to make sure that whenever they're on their own, that they have all the tools that they need to be successful and contribute to society.
Okay, sound like you already got to kick them out the house plan, huh? said, said 18. You said 21. You said 18. When you turn 18, we
That's
out. They're on their own. That's good. You're preparing them.
oh
And
yeah.
that's good. We have to prepare them because we never know what our kids will do. Because these kids today, they're growing up, they're smart. He may create an app
Mhm.
or create a company at 18, at 16. And by 18, he ready to go. He might buy your house in LA.
I hope
So
so.
so what's the best part of being a father?
Seeing the different stages of growth. Um, I I get to see C-sections every day and see new babies being delivered, and it always reminds me of when Denise and Robert were that small, whenever they were newborns, and you have that, they're so small they can fit in your hands, and they're sleeping all day. Then they progress to the stage where they're learning how to walk, learning how to talk, and just kind of seeing them gradually get older, have all the different stages, seeing how they're able to progress. That's my favorite part.
Okay. Sound good. Yeah, that is awesome, man. Because I watch my son and how he's growing, and it's when you look at them and see them change and see their facial features change, and then see their personality change, and then them having conversations with you and little words they say. You just look at them like, man, you are growing up, and I love it. I love seeing that, and that's something that really hits me right here in the heart. Maybe
Yeah,
you don't want to cry, sometimes. But I'm honest, I look at my son sometimes and I get teary eyed because I'm like, that's my son,
me too.
and to see him doing those things and see him trying to do things I do and talking to my wife and talking to me and talking to grandma or my mom, and it's wonderful to see, man.
Yeah,
So how important are a father's words to his children?
very important. It's one thing if you hear something from a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, because those words may stick with you. That person may stick with you for a while, or they may not. But your father, you only have one father, and so I feel like what I say to my kids is gonna impact them for the rest of their lives, because I'm always going to be a part of their identity. And so that's why, like we were saying, affirming them, letting them know how important they are, how much we love them is critical.
Yeah, because our words go with them. Our words, if you look at a child, uh, you could tell the difference with a child that has a father speaking
Mhm,
into their life and a child that doesn't. Now, I'm not discounting the mother's
mhm,
words. I'm not discounting that. But the difference is with the words of a father in the Bible, the words of a father, the blessing of a father meant everything
mhm.
to their children. The father's words blessed their lives and set them on a course for their lives and gave them their inheritance, gave them um, their status, their character, and things. So, and I feel that as fathers, the more we do that for our children, the more they will be on course for their life and have direction for their lives. I didn't have that, but I said I'm starting a new um, legacy with my son of doing that. So I speak to my son, tell you he can do something because daddy said so. He said he can do stuff because he's a Holloway, because I told him
Yeah,
your name means something. Your name, what people say about you after they say your name means a lot. Your name is greatness. And so funny story, his taekwondo instructor told me one day, she said, I was talking to Caleb and I asked him, Caleb, why are you so good? He said, because I'm a Holloway. And I was, me as his dad,
wow,
I had my chest out. It made me feel proud because he's great because of who he is. And so, and
yeah,
that's why, as fathers, our words are important to our kids because we can set that we can frame their thinking and we can set them on a course of who they're going to believe they are in their lives, and we got to tell them that their name means something. And so what we put in them, the words we put in them are the words we're going to get out of them, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And so I wanted to talk to you about something that you're doing. I see on Instagram you do with your kids, and I want to make sure I get it right. You say it's 100 minutes of reading, right?
yep.
And you post a lot of you reading to your kids, your kids reading books, things
Mhm.
like that. What's that all about, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so we've always read to our kids, even um, from them being newborns and infants. We My daughter started kindergarten this year, and part of the assignment was to do 100 minutes of reading and to document it. And it really was a continuation of something that we started when she was a baby. Um, but every night, we read to both kids for at least 20 minutes. And these are books that they're interested in. Some of the books Denise can read herself. She's at a point where she can read to us sometimes. But the 100 minutes is just a way for us to track and make sure that we're reading a good amount to keep her vocabulary up and to make sure that she also develops an interest in reading. And also, since we started, um, you know, both of them have much better attention spans. They're able to sit down for longer during the stories. And so it's been very impactful for both my 6-year-old and my 2-year-old.
Okay, so is this something you guys do every day?
Every day, every day. It's part of our routine. Every night we, after dinner, we change into our pajamas, we brush our teeth, and we read every night before we go to bed.
Oh, that's good. So so I know you're saying it's important for a father to read to his children, but
Yeah.
what does that do for the child when dad sits down and reads them and does it consistently?
Yeah. The consistency is key. Routine is key. Knowing what to expect. Um, we as fathers kind of carry that weight of authority. And so whenever they see me read to them, they know that this is important. My son knows that reading time, it's serious time. We play and we joke around. We have a lot of fun. We wrestle, but whenever it's reading time, and they're with me, they know that it's serious. And I want for them to, I was a teacher very briefly between college and medical school, and one thing that I uh, realized very quickly is that really learning starts at home. And so I feel like if they can sit and be quiet for me and they can be respectful, concentrate, focus at home, then I feel like that'll prepare them for school to be able to listen to the teacher and to focus and do well academically.
Okay. Okay. So what advice would you give your children about life? What's one piece of advice would you give them about life?
Yeah. So the advice that I would give them is to always seek wisdom. Whenever I was a child, we went to Sunday school every Sunday, and my Sunday school teacher always stressed wisdom, making wise decisions, seeking God, making sure that your steps are ordered, by God's word. And so I always thought about it growing up, like I don't want to make the same mistakes. I want to be able to learn from other people's mistakes. I don't want to have to make them myself. And so with God's wisdom, I feel like we can save ourselves uh, heartache. We can save ourselves disappointment. We can get to our destination and our purpose faster and more expediently if we have wisdom whenever we make our decisions. And making godly decisions will, ultimately bring you closer to God and closer to your destiny.
Okay. So let me ask you, speaking to new dads and dads out there, take a moment and give a piece of advice to dads out there raising their children.
Be yourself, share yourself. Um, I don't have the manual on fatherhood, and I know you don't either. We have to know what our strengths are and know what our interests are and share that with our kids. I feel like most of being a father is just being present. And so if you can just show up and be there, that's most of what your kids need. Our kids just want us to be in the room sometimes. And so, you don't have to, be dad of the year or kind of feel like you have to live up to some very high expectations. Just show up and, try to have your kids as involved with you. If you like cars, if you like going to certain events, bring them with you, but, be yourself. That's the advice that I would give.
That's good. And so, guys, that was great advice. Robert, man, I appreciate you for coming on tonight, giving your words of wisdom. Guys, if you want to follow Robert, you can see him on Instagram. He does a lot with his kids, and I follow him on Instagram. He does so much with his kids, and you can see what they're doing, like the Holloway they made, not the Holloway, the holidays. They made some gingerbread cookies. Robert's cookies they ain't come out too well. You can see the video on Instagram. But the kids loved it, and Robert told us that the cookies ain't come out that well. So, uh, but I love how he engaged with his kids. Robert, man, I appreciate you for coming on. We definitely gonna have you back on again in the future, man. Tell your wife I said thank you for lending you to me tonight, and we really appreciate it. So, Rob, if you can hold on for me, I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
Guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight for Father's Authority. This is for episode 1 of season 2. We will be back not next week, but the 25th. And on the 25th, I got the crew back. We're going to be talking about the importance of affirming your children. So we're going to be back, and we got a couple of new dads that's going to be on with us. So guys, I want you to stay tuned, and for that, and to be on, and guys, check us out. You can go to our website at www.kingdomrelationships.org. You can see all our videos there. You can follow us there. You can follow us here on Facebook at Kingdom Relationships. You can follow us on Instagram at K Relationships, or go to our YouTube page. And guys, I want you to go to our YouTube page and subscribe to follow us, guys. We got some things coming down the pipe for you guys this year. So again, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I love you. Until next time, be victorious.